Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to BBC News. A man's body has been pulled from a river in Cumbria after a devastating storm hit parts of northern England, Scotland and Wales. Storm Desmond saw the highest ever amount of rainfall recorded in the UK in one day. In Cockermouth in Cumbria, homes and fields were deluged after waters overtopped multi-million-pound defences that were built to protect the town after the last serious floods just 6 years ago.
Well, I think it was like there was so much rain in a really, really short period of time, so there wasn't actually a lot of warning beforehand. I mean, people knew obviously that there was a risk of flooding because of where we live and the amount of rain that was but on the morning of, I don't remember having any concerns about it flooding. I just knew it was raining and just went to school. My auntie was in America when the first flood happened and it was on the news there, so these situations that are quite obviously serious, you have to learn how to handle yourself in that situation and read the room kind of thing and know how to behave. And so in a way, I think I just matured a bit because you just have to in those situations. I think in times like the flood and crisis, everyone does kind of come together a bit because you have to, and everyone is in the same boat, so people really do want to help each other.
In a warmer climate, you've got more energy in the atmosphere, and with more energy in the atmosphere, you have deeper low pressure systems, more storms, and that means more extreme weather events. Now, this one, Desmond, the fourth in the series, by the way, that we've already had through this autumn-winter period, that was responsible, if you like, in two ways. It drew in some extraordinarily warm air from the subtropics, and it was the strength of the wind which supplied moisture, saturated air, up through the Irish Sea. It hit the Cumbrian Fells like that, and when warm, saturated air hits high ground, it's forced to rise, and that's what causes cooling, huge clouds, and colossal amounts of rain.
You do get this thought in your brain, I can't do this again. Before it happens, you're like, I can't do this again. I just cannot manage to do this again. Yeah. But then your resilience kicks in and away you go.
There is an initial blue light, kind of an emergency that impacts greatly on people's lives. But what really affects them is the recovery from that. But there was a lot of shock in 2009, a lot of anger, I suppose. Part of a community becoming more resilient, and that magic is that the community take a role in helping and supporting those people who are vulnerable in their own community.
There are questions across Cumbria as to whether the flood defences built after 2005 and 2009 have worked. The Environment Agency uses sophisticated modelling to plan and predict these events, but seemingly not on this scale.
And our raison d'etre is to work alongside the emergency services to try and provide as much assistance as we possibly can to people that are going to be affected by the flood. We can't stop the water, we know the water's going to come, we know it's going to overtop, but what we can do is try and save deep personal possessions of individuals that are going to be affected. We can try and get those vulnerable people from their homes to a safer place before the flood happens, and thirdly we could then try and protect the property as best we can.
Or you get across Cumbria towns and villages where they'll say they've had serious floods in the last 20 years, they've had what they were told were appropriate flood defences put in, and yet again this.
If it were to happen again, because we've got the organisations in place now to assist before an event.
Yeah, I think that we're very lucky in Cockermouth to have people who are there for you. Right. But I think, again, that comes down to character, doesn't it? Some people don't want the help.
Some people help, some people
and some
don't
people
want it.
need everything done for them.
Yeah.
I tend to be quite stoic, don't I? Independent, get on with it, drink whiskey, eat chocolate.
She said, what did you have upstairs for
what did she have upstairs? I asked a packet of biscuits and a bottle of whiskey.
I had a box of biscuits and that was it. I
go.
did have one glass.
How long were you there?
3 days. I had one glass of wine
Yeah.
and my dog knocked it over.
Close to cancer. Okay.
But we also need to encourage people to adapt and realise this is our future.
The sort of flooding we've had over the last few days is due to the instantaneous rainfall. And yes, somewhere like Cumbria, southwest Scotland, is particularly prone because they are at the forefront, if you like, of this warm, extraordinarily warm, moist subtropical air, which comes up through the Irish Sea, hits the high ground, is forced to rise, generates huge clouds, and then all that water is funneled down through the Lakeland valleys. So, I mean, we've had 340 odd millimetres, which doesn't sound a lot, does it? It's just over a foot. But of course that all gets channeled through the river valleys and it soon becomes that. So yes, Cumbria particularly prone, and with more extreme weather events likely, that's likely to increase.
I think it would be helpful if you could just sort of major on this mental health issue, because you know the stigma attached to mental health. Even today when we're trying to make it a more openly talked about subject, but there is a personal stigma attached to mental health, and we've got to get that out, and we've got to get that out in a way that people understand. If you say you're depressed, we know why you're depressed, but go and get some help for it because it's there for you.
Now I've been through it 4 times, is we need to stop making this a drama.
I work for a youth charity called Cumbria Youth Alliance, and we were approached by Action for Communities around developing a project that focused on the issues around resilience in young people, raising the issues that young people face in a flooding or an emergency situation.
I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Cockermouth and got heavily involved in the 2015 flood event. And Sally told me a little bit about the project and what she was trying to do with Cumbria Youth Alliance and invited me to participate. So projects like this that will help that bounce back ability can only be good for the communities.
We chose flooding because of the focus around Cockermouth, but actually the whole focus is about emergency resilience in young people. At which point I contacted Rosehill Theatre because I wanted to do it in a fun way rather than doing something really serious, and we came up with the idea of forum theatre to highlight the issues, and that's how the project began.
Yeah, so forum theatre is a particular style of theatre that was it originated in Brazil by a practitioner called Augusto Boal. He used it with communities who were oppressed, and how they may use theatre as a tool to react and behave differently in situations to improve their outcomes.
We're basically going to run it as, naturally letting it happen, as we've been told to. And then with audience participation, we're going to be told, or rather suggested, what we could do better. After that, it's no more script. It's completely up to us how we tailor the story. It's a whole new level of drama, I think, a whole new skill. It really tests your creativity and literally thinking on the spot. But I feel ready for it.
The project is sort of like about a local event which happened in November 2009, and it's about how Cockermouth flooded, and it's based on this one family and how they were impacted by the floods, and basically the audience sort of see what that trauma was like because it was so unexpected.
Why are you here though?
Because they think it's going to flood, Mum. Here.
Oh, Carly, don't be so melodramatic. It's not flooded here for centuries or something.
Forum theatre is a way of the audience being more proactively involved in a production.
So you get the idea. It's a little bit more interactive. It's a bit more out of their comfort zone. It's a bit more out of your comfort zone. But hopefully at the end of it you realise audience participation doesn't kill you.
It's principally been formed to make the audience think about how they would deal with certain situations, how to get the best out of a certain situation.
Yes. Can I also say we need to prioritise as well the things that are going upstairs?
Excellent
Animals,
point.
elderly.
Animals, yes. Can we remember the rabbit, please? Yes.
So, you know.
Mom! The rabbit escaped!
And they would try and make the scene as positive as possible through a kind of collaborative effort, and was very successful in what it did.
Resilience, it's saying tough situation, it literally puts you right in the deep end. I think you've got to believe in faith. I think that's a big thing. You got to believe there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So it's not an easy thing to find, but I think when you start to feel like things could turn around, you sort of gain confidence. Every outcome is possible, so work for it. I think that's the most important thing.
I think resilience is a massively important thing, especially in the performing arts industry. Being resilient is what makes me want to keep coming back and keep moving on. And I think resilience is a determination to want to succeed and want to achieve your dreams and stuff. So I think it's massively important.
Sounded.
I could do that tomorrow. Good.
Yeah, so I think for me, resilience is really about how people cope better in situations that might arise in their lives. And the method of forum theatre really helps people to explore and think about some of the situations that they find themselves in. When we think about resilience in a flooding context, really thinking about how young people can work through those situations that they might have been involved in and the impact of those situations on their lives.
The subject matter that this is kind of hinging on, which is resilience in youth, which is a word that gets bandied around quite a lot these days. But when you actually stop and think about it, it is a very useful skill.
We at Cumbria Youth Alliance like to call it bounce back ability, because actually it's about giving young people the ability, if they are faced with something that isn't great, to have some tools in their armour to deal with that and maybe bounce back from that situation. And I think some of our young people are losing the skill and the ability to do that, and anything that we can do to strengthen those skills I think would be a massive positive, whether that's in an emergency situation or in life in general.
I think it's human power to sort of keep going throughout whatever odds you have, and to make use of what you have and sort of aspire to sort of keep going and still go for what you want to do in life despite any challenges.
I think it would be very important, because you have to know how to work around as a team and with other people that you may have never worked with before, and finding different ways to work with them and things like that, you know, because you could be in a completely different community, not having worked with people like this before, and then you slowly work yourself around it. Yeah.
The things that I've always felt with theatre, especially, is it's not necessarily a natural reaction to jump out in front of people and deliver speeches and do all these things. You're kind of putting yourself into an automatically uncomfortable position. By doing improv on stage, you really are throwing away the stabilizer wheels. You've got to face it. You've got to do it. I like that in life as a philosophy. Try and make yourself go towards things that scare you.
They're absolutely important, and we need to think about not everybody, but the young people are really important, because you tend to deal with adults in those situations and the youngsters are completely forgotten about. But we have to bear in mind that they've been as badly affected by emergency events, floods in particular. But if you take national events and you take the Manchester bombing and the Grenfell Tower fire, There was lots and lots of young children involved in those, and they will be affected by that for the rest of their lives. So projects like this that will help that bounce back ability can only be good for the communities.
Being able to face my fear without messing up too much. I don't like really performing in front of people or being centre stage. I like being on my own in the chorus and background. I don't mind performing, just not having all the attention on me in one mid-part, even for a minute. So yeah, it's stressful, but I love it. I've absolutely loved it, even though it's taken up a lot of time, but I've still absolutely loved it.
I'm really excited to kind of learn some new skills. I've not really done much forum theatre and improv, so it'll be really exciting to get some experience of doing that. But I'm also really looking forward to hearing about different people's experiences with the floods and stuff, and getting to take part in such an exciting new project. I've got my eyes firmly set on that mum part and I'm getting it. I will fight for it.
You know, it's about to happen, with the war, and it's going to take all of our things, and I just really, really need you to come home now, please. It's your wife.
But yeah, I think no matter what the part is, it's just exciting to be involved in something like this and just be doing some acting. I've got a bit of a crippling fear that no one's going to ask any questions, so we're just going to be stood there. But, fear's good, it keeps you determined to keep going and stuff, but I'm sure it'll all work out fine.
Certainly we would hope that the play that's produced really is something that the community are keen to see, and they're keen to support the efforts of those young people. I know, I think thinking kind of long term, it would be lovely if we were able to show that piece of theatre to other young people around the county that maybe find themselves in difficult situations or in emergency situations, and give them the opportunity to explore how they may respond.
My expectations are that it may well be hard work, but I quite like the idea of that. I'm getting the experience of working on something I've never worked on before. I'm going to see if we can make this work, because I'll be aiming to make sure that everybody enjoys it, from the actors to the crew to the people coming to see it. And yeah, I'll be developing my own resilience, of course, in the process.
How's it going? How are you feeling about it so far?
Yeah, I think it's going really well. We have some young people, which is always very nice, and some really very committed and enthusiastic young people, so that's even better. They're really taken with the script and the themes of the piece, so it'll work out well. I think it'll be a good show, and yeah, they're working really hard. Yeah.
All right, Toby, we're into week 4.
Yeah.
This monumental project.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah. Yes, the beast is growing. It's interesting. It seems to be organically getting bigger as it goes along, kind of as you'd hope.
We just went to see what will be the venue for the big performance on the 23rd of November. How did that space feel, and how did you see, after rehearsals, etc., that working?
Yeah, it's a big space. And I think the rehearsal spaces that we've used so far have been quite small, so that's going to be quite a change. Yeah, but I think it'll work well. I think it feels right, considering its kind of role within the flood as a recovery centre, and I think that means that it is the right venue for the performance to take place, and hopefully we'll get a really wide range of people from the community coming on to see that show and supporting the young people.
You never know what you're going to get out of a project until you come and give it a try, but the nature of forum theatre and the nature of what's happening here, there's so much to gain from it. Confidence, it's learning a new skill, it's learning a new technique, you're getting to meet new people, make new friends, work in a completely different environment. I've been acting since I was 12, 13. I've never performed in a church. That's so exciting.
So I just think, just get amongst it, because you never know what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, so we've been doing quite a lot of improvisation work with the young people because the nature of Forum Theatre is that it utilises improvisation quite a lot. So I think really what I've seen over kind of just in this 4 weeks is them not really having ever done that before and being put on the spot, and that being quite a challenge can be quite intimidating. And I think over the 4 weeks they have grown in confidence in terms of being able to respond.
They have had a taster of a lot of improv workshops, the idea of not being so scared of going into scenes with no idea what's going to happen, but it takes a bit of confidence. So yeah, I'm very pleased with what they're doing with what they're being given, so to speak.
I'm sort of like excited, nervous. Like, I'm open to new experiences, and it's just, I love doing new things, and this is a first for me, so I'm excited to see how it is, and it's going to be really great.
Just got 2 choirs that we think we're going to be involved to be singing before the whole thing takes off, so that will be another good touch.
I would like to say a massive thank you to Mr. Elliot, Fiona and the whole of the choir for that. That was absolutely superb.
It's actually really nice. It's something that I'm definitely used to. Like, I've trained as an actor. Like, this is a setting that I'm familiar with. But I think it's really cool that we get to do this part of it too, and like get to come in front of the cameras. I think a lot of people who get involved with youth theatre, is just the performance on the stage. So having this opportunity as well, it's just, you know, another like feather in your cap, and it's another, everything that we do here just, I think, makes everyone more confident.
I'm really looking forward to sort of like doing it and sort of seeing what audience we have and what the possibilities are. But I am sort of quite conscious about balancing out with my schoolwork, because I'm doing GCSEs this year, so it's trying to balance everything out, and I want to do this right, and I know, but I come here for fun, and it sort of keeps me happy. I have to accept the responsibility as well.
The next stage, I've got a new script which I need to start casting, so it's, yeah, I'm excited to see if this actually works or not, whether people get behind it and get the idea of what Forum Theatre is. Who knows if they're going to take to it. There's every chance that they will. We'll just have to wait and see on the night. So yeah, fingers crossed for that.
A success in my mind is to have a place where everyone's happy, performers, actors and audience, everyone's enjoyed, and I think a success would basically just everyone having a laugh.
Hi Barry, you're still here, just go will you? Just get out. Alright? Get out! Okay?
Is it going to be finished on time?
It will be finished on time. It'll be a brilliant show, and I'm really confident that their hard work will pay off.
Yeah. Is it going to be ready on time?
Yeah. Is it going to be? Yes. Let's take a leaf out of our own teaching. Yes, it will be ready, and yes, it will be awesome to behold.
It's just starting to get a little bit scary. You know, it's like as we get closer. It's a bit nerve-wracking now, actually. Oh.
It'll be alright.
It'll be alright on the night.
Stop fighting! Carly, just put the TV on or something. Try your father again.
How do you feel? How confident are you now? Are you thinking, yeah, I'm glad I took this on? Oh, what did I do? On a scale from, say, 1, shouldn't have taken this on, to 10, wow, this is the best thing I've done. Where are we?
Yeah, I think I'm on an 8 at the moment. I think, I've managed a lot of projects in my time, and not one of them has ever run smoothly from start to finish. I think there are always things that don't happen as you want them to, don't go to plan, things that need improving, and I think that's kind of the nature of any project that you deliver. So I think every project for me is enjoyable and is something that that's why I kind of do the job that I do, really.
Blaming Nora. Right.
Oh, God.
On we go. There we go. Right, so the mantra continues: keep calm, carry on. It's resilience. Exactly. There you
That's
go.
It, yeah.
We are
teaching ourselves.
embodying the subject of the play, resilience.
It's all going to be all right.
It will be all right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, confidence levels?
Ooh, I'd say a high 8.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed you didn't actually give a score there.
Yeah.
And you just
Well, I was going to go for a 7.
Okay, solid 7.
Solid 7.
A solid 7.
That's good.
The thing is, you obviously want it all to go right, and you want to feel confident, but you're dealing with live entertainment, live show. There's always room for error, but there's always room for improvising and getting through no matter what.
Beforehand, I've never done improvisation ever before, and I've never thought I would ever do it, particularly in front of the audience. And because of me having dyslexia, it's harder for me to learn lines and to remember and do specific steps and different things. So, yeah, it's actually really good fun, and even if you have like dyslexia like I do, it's good to do this thing because it helps you.
I think for me, it's been enjoyable because the kids that we've been working with have put their heart and soul into it. They're really enthusiastic. They've kind of taken on everything that we've asked them to do.
I mean, their improvisation, just getting them on that, they couldn't ask for better, really.
Yeah.
That's some very funny scenes. So we've got some cast in tonight.
We have some. We don't have everyone.
Well, the thing is, this is the stupid thing. We have a full cast. It's just we've never had the full cast in the same room at the same time. So this last few days is going to be. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to do my best to be the calming influence.
You could be having these issues and be knee deep in water.
Yeah. So Rosie Glow right there.
Yes, it has rained quite a lot over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a bit concerning.
The problem is for those who have been through floods, as soon as it does start raining, they start to really get
a bit panicky
and nervous. Yeah. Certainly of the people that we interviewed, there was that definite sense that this is new in their lives.
I remember vividly looking out the window and seeing the river creep on in over the street, and I was like, oh God, it's happening.
This is happening.
This is real. And I was like, whoa. It's sort of like a disaster movie, kind of just seeing the river come down the road. It was weird. And we bombarded the front door with sandbags and of course the back door.
All the water starts like coming up through the
floor,
yeah. And basically we were told to like just sit in our willies kind of thing, and like we had like bags, plastic bin bags with like clothes and stuff, and just to like get through like a couple of days that we're probably going to be out.
Right.
But we had to like bang on the front door because we were worried they didn't know we were still in. They thought we'd been rescued, and we were just
because there's no lights.
Yeah, exactly. So eventually we managed to get their attention, but we were very worried like that we weren't.
They weren't going to notice.
Yeah.
So was
it was just raining very heavily, and everyone in the estate was just like sort of. I think your mum told.
Yeah, because we saw the people across the street because our estate it looks level, but it's not. So we from our house could see Sharon and Stuart across the street moving about. We were like, I think that's when my dad was like, I'll just check the internet for warnings. I went on the internet and was like, oh.
we can't forget that when we're performing these, we're acting out real people's stories. This actually really happened to people, and I think when you think about that, it makes me determined to be more resilient as a person, just like people of Cockermouth were at the time. The people in this audience next week are people that experience this, and I want to be able to do it justice and make them, you know, make it a good performance for them. The nature of drama and the nature of entertainment, it's about presenting something that's real life, but it's, you know, it's got to have that dramatic sense, and this has the nature of foreign theatre. It's got to be so dramatic that then when we've had the audience feedback and we perform the best case scenario, it should be like a complete polar opposite of what's happened. But it definitely, you know, it definitely is difficult when you're doing it. You're thinking, I really hope that people aren't going to be affected by this and they can see it for what it is as a piece of theatre. I think it's, you know, doing this is the perfect example of how the arts and theatre can help young people form new relationships with like-minded others.
Yeah, I do find it good that they put on this, because then people, you know, they can do something in their spare time and they don't find themselves being bored, and they can be with other people. Maybe they haven't interacted with those people before, but it's about community and giving and sharing, and I really like that.
Ian, who's joined us kind of lastminute.com, who's our adult performer, I think he's still slightly wondering what the heck's going on.
Yeah, I think so. But he's only done 1 week so
He's
far.
done 1 week with us.
Thoughts and feelings about tonight? Oh goodness. I stopped acting quite some time ago because I can't remember lines. So that's my biggest fear. And I guess to some extent, when we get to the forum bit, who knows what's going to happen? You know? Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
It's nice to have essentially a professional actor for them to have around as a calming influence.
Yeah, definitely.
That's because I'm always waiting for the possibility that Ian runs around like a headless chicken with the others go, it's fine, Ian, you're fine, it's okay. That'd be nice to see.
Damien, stop splashing around, take your sister upstairs.
Don't let me see.
Damien, Arthur, Jackson.
So, what part are you playing in this play? Tell me a little bit more. Are you playing many parts? What's the...
I thought I was playing a lot more, but since we've got more people involved, basically primarily playing Barry. So he's quite an angry character, you know, he's very devoted in his work, his school life, but he's very stubborn, I think.
What stage are we at
in general? Well, since we last saw you, the biggest thing that's happened is we have a full cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some have left, some have come.
Men, boys.
Men, boys.
Oh, look, the flooding, it's here.
Oh my days, the rabbit! Oh yeah! How to get the rabbit?
Oh, the rabbit's going to get drowned.
So what developments have happened since I last saw you?
Since then, we've met up with Ruben and our young techies.
Yeah.
They're working hard on the design of the thing, lights, sound, a bit of live feed onto the television screens that we've got there. They've taken on board everything that we've asked for. They're confident they can deliver.
Yeah.
So it was Toby that got me involved. So I've worked with Toby on a rural tour before, so a very close relationship with Toby, and they're wanting a company that's small, not huge, but that small, young, aspiring people, but who also have the experience there to get the job done. And we were first on his list. I've been doing for 13 years now. I started when I was just 7 years old because my parents were in the business. So our job is to provide all of the lighting and all of the sound. Georgina, my colleague here, is going to be operating all of the show. And this computer here is going to be, it's literally, once it's all programmed in, it'll be the click of a button to make the entire show work.
After this is a bonus, essentially. We've got script, we've got actors. They haven't killed each other, they seem to be getting on.
almost learned their lines.
They've almost learned
their lines. It's been customs go.
Yeah.
It's that place where you know that you know the lines, but then you just completely forget them and you act like you've never been here before. And I think I'm kind of in that really, really nervous place, but hopefully the excitement and the adrenaline will just kick in next week.
I think maybe not learning my lines, but slowly I think I'll be able to get there. It's just all the nerves coming to me, and then you have to rehearse so many times, but then maybe slipping up on stage, but maybe you can play it off with improv, but I just hope it'll be okay.
It's one thing knowing your lines
Yeah.
when you're sat there and somebody's testing you, then get up on your feet and do the same lines again, and suddenly it's a problem. And then try and do a scene that involves mass hysteria, where you're running around like a headless chicken screaming at each other, and try and remember your lines as well, and it's a very different ball game.
Let's get more things up the stairs.
There's a helicopter flying over the house, really, no?
Where? I'm with you. It's really big. Stop. We don't have to look at helicopters. Listen to me.
So yeah, I mean, going on stage in front of peers and people you know is very scary.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm very proud of what they've come up with so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle the live show.
But certainly, I think they've enjoyed their time with us, and maybe even would have liked to have kind of been with us.
Wish
from the
they'd been
start.
with us longer.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
overall impression that they're getting. Obviously, they may tell you a very different story when they do.
I'd just like to say thank you very much, and it's such a pleasure to be here, and I don't know where I would be otherwise.
But as well as that, I also feel very prepared for a flood, that I know exactly how to deal with it. But yeah, it's been a really fun process, and I think I've learned far more than I expected to.
I have complete faith in Toby. I think in our situation now, going into next week, we'd be massively unprepared, but literally anything can happen in a week.
I would ask him, or if he needs anyone help, I easily, happily come back and redo this because it's really good fun.
Give us a little update on what's been happening.
What's been happening? It feels like the theme of resilience is being expanded yet again. We haven't had a technical yet. The lights didn't get fully up, and they're still not fully up as far as I know, unless somebody's been in today. And the first time we will have the whole cast on set together will be tomorrow. And the play is tomorrow. So that's where we're at right now. A lot's riding on tomorrow. It's kind of as you'd expect if you've ever done this kind of thing before, is that you think it's going to be different this time.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be great.
How do you know?
Because I just know it's going to be amazing. Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
Tomorrow we go.
I'm very nervous, and at the moment I think that's spinning out, but I know as soon as we start it'll just get so exciting and I'll just be so happy, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be brilliant.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Good luck. Break a leg.
Thank you.
I think what we've built together, and when it's all finished, we realise of what a good job we did and how it's brought us all together.
I'm really looking forward to that, but also very nervous, which is why I feel up to it. So I'm really optimistic about it. I think we'll be fine, to be honest, but I feel ready for it.
I feel alright, like we've been doing final sort of touch-ups for tomorrow and like getting final feedback, and yeah, just making sure we're happy with everything. You know where to like adjust things and that, but that'll come when we have everyone like tomorrow.
Are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. Slightly nervous, it's like a mix of energy and nervousness. Yeah.
Ready.
can. I'm just going up and down the street, checking who's in, and if anybody needs any help getting out.
Frank, are you saying what I think you're saying? Are we about to get flooded?
Have you not been listening to the radio around?
Well, what do we do? When?
Well, pretty soon. Have you not seen the river?
Oh, Barry! Oh, wait, Frank, do you know what we should do now?
Oh, hi, Carl. Yeah, you need to get all your valuable stuff upstairs. Now, there's some sandbags.
Carly the kid, 1 second, remember, go a second, the water's coming.
I was just saying.
Yeah, that's great.
You need
Thanks.
to...
Bye, Frank. Mom! Okay, that was just rude.
I think the guy in the high-vis jacket should cut
Frank.
more straight to the point.
Stop beating about the bush, Frank. That's the advice we're getting here.
I should do what?
You should get to the point quicker.
Yeah. Hello, Barry. I've just come round to see if anybody needs any help getting out or, you know, shift and stuff.
You know what we do?
You do?
We pocket fence, plug fences up, gas and electrics.
Oh, stop, Chris! Stop! Right, what's the deal with the children? Anybody got anything on that?
Don't bring them home.
Don't bring them home. Why not?
Why would you?
Why would you? Very good point. So, what, school can look after them?
No, get a friend to take
Get a friend to take them somewhere else?
Grandparents.
Hello, yes? Go.
Hello, Barry. Can I help?
Yes, we can help with the floodgates and gas and electric.
Whoa.
Frank would give a little explanation because he's knocking on the door because he knows a little bit about what's going on and he
Right.
can probably help the family with some of their decision making.
So, he should probably be the font of all knowledge here.
Not all knowledge, but
Some
he would
knowledge.
have some knowledge.
Okay.
All right, Barry.
Hello, Frank.
So, I'm going up and down the street, just checking everybody's all right, making sure they don't need any help to do anything. But if they do, I can sort somebody out. I'm just checking. Have you got all your stuff sorted out?
I've got it sorted.
You have?
Prepared.
Yeah. You've got your plan and everything.
Yeah.
Electricity and gas off and all that.
Exactly.
Good. Right. So I'll move along to the next house.
Thank you.
Okay. There's some sandbags down there, by the way, if you need them.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris!
Right, go on.
He should be encouraging them to evacuate as soon as possible.
He should be encouraging to evacuate as soon as possible.
Forget about sandbags.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the sandbags. Never mind the sandbags. Go!
Hi, Barry. You're still here. Just go, will you? Just get out. All right? Sort it out. Get out. Okay?
We would like to say from all of us, thanks to Anne and Toby for this wonderful experience. Thank you.
Really warm response, happy faces, good show, lots of things considered. Fantastic. Resilience in action.
It was actually alright. I think I was the most stressed. But it was very calm. I'd do it all again tomorrow.
Would you?
I would. I absolutely loved it. I'm very sad that it's over.
It was different and I enjoyed it. Yes, I wasn't quite sure what to expect.
Yeah.
So no, but I found it very informative.
One of the nice things actually was that you got to see the actors acting the same character, sometimes angsty and sometimes relaxed, and different facets depending on what the audience was thinking was appropriate at the time.
How was that tonight? How did you do?
I think it went really well actually, and I'm doing absolutely fine. I'm just glad we've got it done and over with, so we don't have to worry about learning lines or anything like that anymore. And you know, the whole experience has been really fun, hasn't it, Joe?
It has.
Yeah, it has. You know, meeting up with old friends and meeting new ones. It's just a really good experience.
I didn't know what to expect, but actually I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
And having been in the second floods, because I'm behind the main street, there was a lot of information that I didn't know, and I thought it was actually really well done and quite accurate, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been good production and lots of people getting involved, but a lot of finding out information as well. Just as a
No, I loved it out there. Literally, it's always the pre-show. Like beforehand, you always think that the worst can happen. That's when you're most nervous. But literally doing it in the moment, it was great. Literally, the audience reciprocated so well. They came up with really good suggestions. So I was happy they tailored it the way they wanted to, in a way that actually ended at some point. So I was really happy with the overall product.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Have you been to something like this before?
Oh no, never ever been in this before. So this was like a new experience and everything. Yeah.
It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. We had such a good audience as well.
It feeds. It's two-way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you really get in tune with the audience, and it's really good to sort of break that fourth wall and to really connect and like as characters to real life people, like create something and make it your own, just like on the spot.
I think it exceeded my expectations on two fronts. One, the performances by the young thespians and actors, absolutely amazing because it's really difficult to do forum theatre, but actually really happy and ecstatic about the participation of the audience, both from people who are affected by floods, young people who have seen it but weren't really in it, and professionals who worked within it, so and people who volunteer on the recovery side. Amazing contributions from everybody, I think, so really happy.
Well, that's a thumbs up from the boss. Thank you very much.
They get to like learn something new, which like many plays don't do anymore. There's not a lot of morals in plays anymore, so this is like a much more moral story that people can learn from. Yes.
Did you learn something?
Yeah, like keep the bunny safe and all that stuff. So yeah.
A few events in here, and this was a bit like the others, where it's all chaos and on setup, and it always comes together at the end. And the interactive bit was fantastic.
Yeah, just a little bit of relief, a little bit of relief that we got through it because it's been tough. Lots of pride because they were fantastic and did such a brilliant job. And yeah, a little bit of sadness that Thursday nights are no longer. So yeah, but they've been an absolute pleasure and joy to work with, and they should be very proud of themselves because they've done a super job.